Welcome back to the channel. As I'm scanning the world of TikTok and seeing these different videos of women trying to force the hand of black men to either marry them or they try to trick black men into thinking that the man actually isn't coming in to be a stepfather for their child, even if he actually is. We're going to break down two clips that put all of this into perspective. It's a great topic, so let's not waste 1 minute.
His refusal to marry Jhené Aiko after all these years is a perfect example of why we as women have to stop letting our boyfriends stop us from finding our husbands. Quick story time. One time.
This is already starting off weird. There's no way she can know why Jhené Aiko didn't receive a ring from Big Sean. Big Sean could have had great reasons for not wanting to marry her. You don't know their business. But let's get back into it.
I was dating this guy and somehow the conversation of marriage came up. He was pretty adamant about the fact that he did not want to get married one day, and I was pretty adamant about the fact that I was going to get married one day. His reasonings for not wanting to get married was because he didn't want the government in his business, which, baby girl, in this day and age, the government is all up in your business, whether you like it or not.
There's a huge difference between that sort of like the government being in your business versus like the government having something to do with, I don't know, how much money you have to pay out to your wife for the rest of your life. And it's an agreement where the man stands to lose more than the woman stands to lose. So men have every reason to be reluctant about marriage, and women have every reason to want to dive headfirst into it because every possible outcome, either positive or negative when it comes to the relationship, typically ends in the woman getting something and the man getting left with nothing or being left with significantly less than he had before it started.
Reasons for wanting to get married are completely logical. If I'm with somebody for the next 20 years, I'm raising the kids, I'm taking care of the house, and I'm going to work. After 20 years, if this guy gets tired of me, I don't want him to walk out and be able to leave me with nothing. I want there to be some stake in him fucking me over. If you cheat, baby, yes, I get to take half. Anyways, he
said, wait a minute, wait a minute.
If you cheat, I get to take half. This is why so many men are avoiding marriage. And this is why the divorce rate is so incredibly high. If you guys think that the big, large families that we have, some of us who have large families, if you guys think that we got to these large families through monogamy and all the men played by the rules and they had all their babies in monogamous committed relationships, you wouldn't even have the big families that you guys have. I'm not justifying that men should be able to behave however they want to behave in a marriage, but I can't believe that in the Western world, so many marriages end based off of things that men have kind of been doing since the beginning of time, since men have been men. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
Pissed off that I wanted this for myself, and he tried to convince me to change my mind, which I didn't, and I flat out said, like, hey, dude, I know you don't want to get married, totally respect that, but when I turn 25, I'm going to go start looking for my husband. That may be harsh, but that's the reality of the situation. I'm not wasting my 20s on a dude who doesn't want to marry me. I'm gonna go find a dude who wants to marry me. I think it's really sad that in this generation, a lot of women are settling for being the common law wife. At the end of the day, we are smart enough and grown enough to realize that men will fuck you over. They will leave you with the baby, ruin your life, and leave you nothing. So the least you can do is get legal paperwork, legal contracts, tying him to you. So in the event that something goes wrong, you have a say.
You one crazy ass bitch.
Why would a man want to marry a woman coming into the arrangement with such a bad faith mentality? And if you believe that men just screw you over and abandon women with babies, and that's just what they do, void of a marriage contract, why would you even want to be involved with men in general? I think that that's a pretty reasonable question if this is your point of view about men. And in general, men, we just screw women over. That's what we do. We abandon women and we just leave them with babies. And the stats certainly contradict this. The stats say that women are abandoning marriages, and for very silly reasons. Sometimes because there's no more emotional connection, or because they aren't happy, or they're out earning their husband and they just want to pursue other options. But the stats don't say that men are just up and leaving their families at the rate that women are. Yet she's trying to put this men just abandon families narrative out there. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
When you are a common law girlfriend or a long-term girlfriend, you have no say. If something were to happen to your partner medically, you don't get to make any of the decisions. The family doesn't like you and doesn't want you to come to the funeral, oh well, you're just a girlfriend. Marriage is protection and a safety net, and with the right person, it can be beautiful.
True.
Do not settle for being a long-term girlfriend. Get some paperwork, mama.
Grow the fuck up. You're not children anymore.
I agree that marriage can be a positive thing. I agree that marriage can be a safety net, and with the right person. The last part of her video was the part that I sort of was more in alignment with. A lot of women have to understand is that how bad the marriage climate is looking nowadays, how bad the dating climate is nowadays. Men are gonna be far less likely to put themselves in a scenario where they stand something to lose more than the women stand something to lose, in the midst of all these women talking about they're independent and they make their own money and that they would rather be in the woods with a bear than a man. And you guys think that you're the same women who are gonna get a marriage? I think it's hilarious that these man-bashing women who think that men are nothing but something that'll eventually unalive a woman or abandon her. But on the other token, you guys are still women who want to be with men and be under the security of men. I find that pretty interesting. Let's move on to the next clip of a single mother pulling the same thing except in the stepfather dynamic. Let's get into it.
Okay, back again. Okay, another thing, whenever it comes to dating, especially for women who have like kids and stuff like that, like we really don't want everybody around our child or whatever. So for some reason, like a lot of men try to make it an effort, like, oh, I can be around them, or oh, I can take y'all somewhere or something like that. Like, sir, we don't want you around just yet. Like,
And here we go.
we need to get comfortable first before we bring our child. Like, absolutely not. Another thing, whenever it comes to like dating men, for me, I have a son. My son does not need to see no lazy ass man not getting up, going to work, taking care of himself, like self-care and stuff like that. He doesn't need to see someone not doing those things, because the last thing I want is for my son to grow up thinking like, oh, okay, it's cool to do it because mommy accepted it. Fuck no. Get your ass up, okay? Get your money together. Get yourself together before approaching me.
Cut that bitch off. Next caller.
I told you guys that black women, in particular black single mothers, they're trying to use this weird reverse psychology with the men that they're involved with, where they know that a man is going to be less likely to want to take care of their illegitimate child. So what they do is they act like their illegitimate child is a prize that they're keeping away from the guy to try to distract him from the fact that this is an extra mouth to feed. This is an extra person to take care of. This is a very dishonest way to approach dating, and you have a child already by another man. I say this all the time on my channel, and I'm gonna continue to say it. Black single mothers and single mothers in the West in general are not hopeless women. The things that Western single mothers say makes it hopeless. It makes their chances of getting a husband or landing a solid relationship almost 0 to none. And it's very unfortunate, because I don't think that single mothers are just completely untouchable, undateable women. I've been around people who have been raised by phenomenal single mothers, and not all single mothers are just trash out here. But a lot of black women, especially the really, really ratchet ones, they're putting a bad name out there for single mothers. They're saying all this obvious stuff, like me and my child are a package deal. Men don't really want to hear that when we already know we have to come in and take care of your child. We don't want to hear that you're a package deal. That's not how we work. That's not how we operate. Also, you said you don't want your child to look at a man who doesn't do anything and doesn't go anywhere and lays down all day. It's another bad faith hypothetical where you set up all your potential relationship scenarios as a scenario where the guy isn't doing well in life and he's something that needs to be lifted up and uplifted. Black women treat dating hypotheticals like a Tyler Perry movie. The black woman is on her stuff. She's trying to pull up some black man who isn't on his grind. And again, to act like somebody who has to come in and pay for your illegitimate children are somehow a burden on you and your children, again, it's reverse psychology. It flips it. It makes it like you're actually imposing on us instead of we're imposing on you. Like you could hurt us instead of us hurting you, actually. Instead of us making you go broke, you actually could end up hurting us in some way. It's a very cheap and lazy way of trying to secure a man, to try to get a man to want to take care of you and your kids. I think black women should abandon this reverse psychology style of like language that they try to use, like, who said you can even meet my kids? Who said you can even be in my kid's life? It's not gonna make a man be like, oh, this must be a really good mother here. This must be a better situation that I gotta pay for because she's standing on business and she don't even want me to meet her son. So that must make me think she's a good mother. No, men don't think like that. No matter what you say, And no matter how you conduct yourself, if you have another kid by another man, we know that that's another kid by another man that we have to pay for, even if we're okay with paying for it. Don't try to play with us like it ain't what it really is. Hit the subscribe button and way out of the room. Also hit the notification bell so you get notified every single time we post content just like this. Also drop a comment and let me know how we did on the video. I'll see you guys on the next one.